This is MJF. On the outside, he's a wealthy and arrogant man who seems to have it all. With his designer clothes, luxurious cars, and lavish lifestyle, he exudes confidence and success. But if you take a closer look, you'll see there's more to MJF than meets the eye. Behind the facade of wealth and power lies a man who is deeply insecure and constantly seeking validation from others. Despite his impressive material possessions, MJF struggles with feelings of inadequacy and a need to constantly prove himself. He may put on a brave face and act like he's untouchable, but it's clear that he is haunted by his own insecurities. He's a man torn between two contrasting personalities: the arrogant, wealthy businessman on the outside and the vulnerable, insecure person within. MJF's despicable behavior is a facade, a way to mask his own insecurities and self-doubt. This need for validation stems from a deep-seated fear of being overlooked or forgotten, a fear that drives MJF to constantly seek out new ways to stand out and prove his worth. There's a reason why he's so outspoken, a reason why he's obsessed with winning, a reason why he thinks he's the best, and that is because he is so scared, insecure and frightened of the concept that he's not the best. And these insecurities and fears feasted deep below the surface for MJF, and they bubble to the surface and manifest themselves in this arrogant, rich facade he has created for himself. This fear of not being the best, or this fear of failure, bleeds through this facade in the form of his desire to be in control of every situation. We see it in every feud he's in. With Wardlow, MJF knew his star power, his potential. He knew that Wardlow was the perfect package. And by keeping Wardlow underneath his thumb, there was one less hurdle to jump over in his quest to be the best. But for all the insecurities and vulnerabilities, Maxwell is smart, because he used Wardlow as a tool to hurt, a tool to injure his opponents before they got in the ring with him. Cody Rhodes is a prime example of this. He had to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop just to get in the ring with MJF, and when he did, he was a broken version of himself. This controlling aspect of MJF is the manifestation of this desire to prove that he's not a loser, to prove he is actually as good as he thinks he is. But when he loses control of the situation, he lashes out, and all these dark sides to MJF's personality explode out of him, creating an emotional wreck of a human. Just look at this moment where Wardlow doesn't react in the way Max wants him to.
You're right. He didn't move.
Holding that belt up.
Oh! MJF just he lost his composure.
I'm telling you right now. Lash. For crying out loud.
This loss of control is actually what makes MJF such a horrible human being, because the second he loses an ounce of control to a situation, he relies on underhand tactics to gain a sense of control back, as you saw with the low blow to Wardlow. And again, this all comes back to this insecurity that MJF battles with, that he's not good enough. He feels he must constantly prove that he is good enough, and how do you prove that? By winning matches, and MJF has the need to control these matches to every minuscule detail. For some matches, he'll stay outside the ring for well over 5 minutes. With Jon Moxley, he banned his finishing move from being used, and most have to go through extreme punishments just to see MJF on the other side of the ring. Probably the most obvious insecurity that MJF has, however, is his appearance. There's something deep inside Max that causes himself to desire, to almost crave, the most expensive suits, the fancy scarves, and the lavish lifestyle that he so desperately wants us to know he has. We know he got bullied in school. This was touched upon in the CM Punk feud. So this motivation to be luxurious and better than us raises the question, was Max always better than us? Because whilst this character of MJF talks about how he came from wealth and is the epitome of a silver spoon, I have a much more disturbing theory. That is, MJF, as much as he tries to hide it, is just like us. I believe MJF didn't come from wealth at all, actually the exact opposite. I theorise that Max was poor growing up, going to school with raggedy, old clothes with no money to buy anymore, and Max was bullied for this, bullied for it real bad. And this was out of his control. He couldn't control his money situation, nor could he control the bullies. This relentless bullying would continue on for the life of Max, until he somehow fell into fortune, and this was the death of young Maxwell and the birth of MJF. And MJF bought the fanciest clothes he could. He had enough money to control any situation he was in, but all the money in the world can't hide the fact that MJF was once like us. There's a reason behind why MJF insults the crowd so much, why he calls us insults, and why he berates us. And that's because when he looks into the crowd, no, he doesn't see a swarm of exciting wrestling fans, no. He sees himself, and he hates that truth, because it looks at him in the face week after week, and when he sees the truth, his facade of being rich, powerful and superior slowly crumbles, and we are left with the undeniable reality that MJF is a mark. But as we take a step back, the character of MJF gets more disturbing, because where do we draw the line between the on-screen character of MJF and the professional wrestling mark Maxwell T. Friedman? Because the line between reality and fiction gets increasingly blurred when we look at MJF's insecurities and motivations. Are we seeing a fictional character or a man who has been bullied taking his frustrations out on us? And this is something AEW do very well. They blur the lines between reality and fiction and flesh out complex, multifaceted characters. And that's why I explored Hangman Adam Page's journey with nihilism, and you can check it out here. Subscribe now for some of the greatest wrestling content on YouTube.